ในบ้านเยอะบ้านไหน
เดี๋ยวเอาข้าวตักผมก็ไม่งั้นก็หิวแย่คนทำอาหารเช้าว่างเรากินอาหารเช้าตามผมตามถูกใจเลยไม่กินตามไม่ลืมถามองุ่นหรือว่าทำไม่เสร็จนะจะล้างลงกับฝรั่ง
เยอะเลย
ฮะ
เยอะเกิน
หลายขั้นตอนeveryone. Nice to meet you. Hi, so cool. Wow. Nice to meet you. Where are you come from? กินได้หมดหรอ กินพวกนี้This first is bro จิตบ่าวกินอะไรสวัสดีครับมีหลายอย่างเลย อันนี้เรียกว่า nutty pudding and this called sperm veggie นี่ this I add cocoa cinnamon and matcha green tea in thisเขาสอนปอกฝรั่งไงนะทำไม
สอนอ่ะ
ทำไมนิ้วเชื่อมัน
หันทางนี้
ท่างไหน
ทางนี้นี่
เอ้ยไม่เอาถอดเสียจำที่เธอสอนไม่ได้ทุกที่เลยต้องอย่างงี้ปะ
แต่เอาจากซ้ายไปขวา เราไม่ได้ขวาไปซ้าย
อย่างเงี้ยเหรอ
นี่เอาข้างนี้ นี่จับนี่หมุนนี้ช้อนลงไปอันนี้
อ๋อโอเคต้องให้เสีย
ก็นิ้วหนึ่งจับไว้ให้เฉียงอ่ะ
อ๋อต้องเฉียงโอเคได้ละรู้ละอร่อยมากเชียร์ไม่ได้กินเลยคิดว่าอร่อยแน่นอน
ดูด้วย
อ๋อเกิดมาเพิ่งจะหั่นฝรั่งเป็นโอเคไม่คิดว่าอร่อยแน่นอนเพราะว่าเชียร์กินทุกวัน I think it's delicious because I eat it every day in the same menuไอ้ที่เหลือของเธอนี่เชียร์กินอ๋อนี่เธอจะตักไม้เชียร์เหรอใช่ปะจะตักให้เชียร์อ๋อครับแต่ Nice to meet you, Bo. I have this and this. I put avocado, banana, and strawberry, and this pumpkin and egg. แล้วก็ this my food my fruit today I don't exercise because in the night I lack of sleep because the thief rob the meter water and I watch CCTV for neighborhood yeah the thief lost meter water in my neighborhood and they asked me for watch CCTV for them and I watch CCTV for them 2 hours and then I go to sleep maybe 9 p.m. but I don't sleep well because I think in the night and I go wake up at night at 11 to 1 a.m. I'm not sleep well and I find in the internet to order some 6 CCTV for my security in my house for protect the thief to cover the thing and I don't wake up at 4 and 5 a.m. to exercise and then I wake up at 7 a.m. today and then I cooking my breakfast สุนทรคุณชกุลสวัสดีครับ ยินดีต้อนรับครับ ยินดีที่ได้จาก Nice to meet you everyone I think tomorrow you will see me exercise Today I will find something for slow down the aging process. Wow. It's interesting. Oh, 6 years.
I remember everything from the time I was 6 years old. My son says, I don't know how she does it, but she does.
Lenore Schaefer is 104 years old.
I remember everything from the time I was 6 years old. My son says, I don't know how she does it, but she does.
Lenore Schaefer is 104 years
โอ้
old.
โห
Her achievement is
104 ปียังปั่นจักรยานอ่ะเธอหมดคนอายุ104 ปียังปั่นจักรยานอ่ะ
not as extraordinary as it once would have seemed. Today, we are all living longer, better lives. And as scientists discover the wonders of the aging process, the boundaries of human lifespan seem almost limitless.
It is possible to substantially increase the human lifespan, and it will, in fact, occur. That's as inevitable as, motor cars and electricity were by the latter part of the 19th century.
are mortal. We are born, we live, and then we die. Yet the true curse of mankind is not death itself, but aging. One by one, the diseases that cut short our lives are being conquered. Our life expectation at birth now exceeds that of our ancestors of even 50 years ago. But will medical advances alone continue to significantly increase human lifespan? Professor Leonard Hayflick warns that even if we eradicate all known diseases, death will still claim us.
The resolution of all causes of death currently written on the death certificates in developed countries will add 15 years onto human life expectation maximum.
So if we do want to significantly increase the human lifespan, it's essential that we understand the mysteries of aging. Scientists are now beginning to unravel the aging process, and some, like Professor Michael Rose, have even managed to slow it down.
Aging is a powerful, brutal thing. It's like a hurricane. And in humans, it starts at 50 and ends at 95. And you go through 80 years of exponentially accelerating deterioration, during which time you will lose almost all of the abilities that you had at 15.
We fight the ravages of time in any way we can, pursuing with enthusiasm the latest anti-aging promise. Ironically, few of our ancestors lived long enough to share our worries or vanities.
We have been on this planet for several million years. 99.99% of that time, our life expectation at birth has been no more than 20 or 30 years. So that we have survived most of the time that we've been on this planet without an aging process.
Humans are the most evolved species on the planet. We're survivors. But the price of evolutionary success is the aging process we all now endure. This is as good as it gets. After reaching our physical peak between the ages of 15 and 19, it's downhill all the way. But science holds out the hope that this won't always be so. The study of aging has become a deadly serious business. In 1958, Nathan Schock, a scientist with the National Institutes of Health, established the Baltimore Longitudinal Study. Its purpose, to scientifically examine human aging.
Shrug your shoulders up and
For more than 40 years, the study has painstakingly charted the aging process of its participants, from the moment they enter the program to the day they die.
first thing I'd like to do is you take a look straight ahead for me.
Okay?
I'm going to take a look in your left eye.
Dr. Jerome Flegg.
Basically, they come in for 2 to 2.5 days of poking and prodding and medical tests, psychological tests, physiological testing. And that runs the gamut from a routine history and physical examination and to detailed psychological testing.
Since the study began, 2,900 people have come under scrutiny.
If you can just tell me.
Currently, there are 1,500 participants between the ages of 21 and 97, all of whom are contributing valuable information relating to how we all age.
Raise your mouthpiece all the way in, covering the front of your feet.
The maximal heart rate declines approximately 1 beat for every year of age. In fact, that's how we test to see if somebody's lying about their age when they exercise on the treadmill. 220 minus your age turns out to be you're pretty close to your maximum heart rate. So that's how we double check on people whether they're telling the truth.
Ready, pull. Pull, 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 pull. Good.
Over the years, the study has recorded the grim reality that we can all expect to experience as we age. Our height reduces. Muscle is lost and replaced with fat, which in men gathers around the waist and in women settles on the hips, while ears and noses grow longer. Our palms widen. Hair growth decreases on our scalps, yet increases in our ears, nostrils, and on our eyebrows. The changes changes occurring inside our bodies are more worrying. Wounds are slower to heal. The immune system becomes weakened. We become susceptible to the diseases associated with aging: heart disease, cancer, and strokes, the three biggest killers in the Western world.
I think a lot of people thought that personality underwent fairly radical changes in most individuals across the age span, and our psychologists have been telling us very consistently that personality is quite stable across age. So if you're a cranky old individual, you were probably cranky when you were young.
Reactions to sights and sounds become slower, and learning new tasks is increasingly difficult. Visual acuity declines, and some hearing loss is experienced.
Okay, now I'm going to check your reflexes of the upper extremities.
We become less sensitive to pain and to touch. Our skin temperature drops, and we feel the cold more. The aim of the study is to examine those who are free from disease, so that normal aging can be isolated. But over time, disease processes inevitably appear, the chilling byproducts of aging.
I become acutely aware of how common Alzheimer's disease really is, even in this population, which tends to be an upper middle class and very intellectually active group of individuals. We're still seeing a very sizable component of individuals, particularly those in their 80s, who have definitely some deterioration of their mental function and would meet the definition of Alzheimer's disease.
The study strongly suggests that not only do different people age at different rates, but so too do different body systems within each person.
People may have young hearts, for instance, perhaps, and older lungs, or vice versa. Aging is a very complex process, and the more you know, the less you know.
While science works to understand the internal complexities of aging, the majority of us are only concerned with the external effects. Our society venerates the young. Youth and attractiveness equals success. We're all under pressure to look good. But this isn't just a modern-day phenomenon. Throughout history, humans have worshipped youth and good looks. Even Cleopatra, renowned for her exquisite beauty, took to bathing in ass's milk to preserve her youthful glow. In the 21st century, our anti-aging tactics may be a little more sophisticated, but we pursue them with equal enthusiasm. This is Los Angeles, Mecca of the body beautiful.
I will do a facial massage and shoulder, neck, and décolleté. So can you take off your top? Yes.
Okay, doctor.
Handlin Sabito Salon and Day Spa is just part of a multi-billion-dollar industry that feeds on our desire to defy nature.
People are starting to take care of themselves for a change, especially men. A lot of first-time attorneys that have to burn the midnight oil, and a lot of times they'll come in here and we do a refresher facial where they cleanse the skin, and we do a great, neck and shoulder massage, and then leave them in the room for the music and the water, and leave them in for 15 or 20 minutes so that they can take a nap.
In the anti-aging war, no expense is spared. During the year 2000, sales of anti-aging products in the USA alone reached a record $4.4 billion.
It's getting really cutthroat, and you need to look a certain part to keep an image. And if you're going to look tired and baggy, and you got sun damage, or you got broken veins going on, and your skin looks very, patchy, shallowy, it doesn't make you look like, hey, I can do this.
Oh, it's awesome. I feel fresh as a daisy.
As people struggle to turn back time, buttocks, breasts, thighs, and faces are being lifted all across town. In the year 2000, there were over 5.7 million cosmetic procedures performed in the USA. The largest growth area is in non-surgical procedures. Pasadena-based doctors Miller and Seltzer are experts in laser treatments.
What we're doing in our medical center is we're rejuvenating the skin, but without any recovery time. The advances recently in laser and emitted light sources is that we can actually improve your skin, make it look younger and healthier without you missing
ใช่
any
เหรอ
work.
เนี่ย
Penny Goodell is having a non-knife facelift. It's her 4th treatment.
ฉันก็ไม่เข้าใจที่เขาบอก
I'm 59, and what started me coming here was purely vanity. I went for a job interview once, and a woman that was interviewing me was
การ
very
ช่างห
mean.
นู
She
โดน
said,
ลบ
you really should
หนูใจหายมากไป
have some
ช่อง
work done
พี่
on
จะ
your
หาย
face
ด้วย
because it's harder to get a job when you're older. It was very cruel, and
การ
I
ช่าง
left in
หนู
tears. But
โดนล
I
บ
started thinking about doing some things for myself.
หนูใจหายมาก
Feel a little stinging, but you won't see your
ช่าง
muscles
เธอจะดูภาษาอังกฤษ
Our anti-aging tactics may be a little more sophisticated, but we pursue them with equal enthusiasm. This is Los Angeles, Mecca of the body beautiful.
I will do a facial massage and shoulder, neck, and décolleté. So can you take off your top? Yes.
Okay, doctor.
Candlin Sabito Salon and Day Spa is just part of a multi-billion-dollar industry that feeds on our
น้องไงพี่เคยคุยกันที่ชื่อว่าเมษาที่หายไปนานน่ะอ๋อเมษาเหรออ๋อแล้วเปลี่ยนเป็นคาเมร่าไดมอนด์โอเครู้จักแล้วเมษาแล้วคือรายการช่างหนูโดนลบ
desire to defy nature.
People are starting to take care of themselves for a change, especially men. A lot of first-time attorneys, they have to burn the midnight oil, and a lot of times they'll come in here and we do the refresher facial where they cleanse the skin and we do a great, neck and shoulder massage, and then leave them in the room for the music and the water and leave them in for 15 or 20 minutes so that they can take a nap.
In the anti-aging war, no expense is spared. During the year 2000, sales of anti-aging products in the USA alone reached a record $4.4 billion.
It's getting really cutthroat, and you need to look a certain part to keep an image. And if you're going to look tired and baggy, and you got sun damage, or you got broken veins going on, and your skin looks very, patchy, shallowy, it doesn't make you look like, hey, I can do this.
Oh, it's awesome.
หนูขอโทษหนูไม่เก่งภาษาไทย เอาภาษาอังกฤษก็ได้
As people struggle to turn
เธอชอบ
back
ภาษาอังกฤษ
time, buttocks, breasts, thighs, and faces
I love
are being
English.
lifted all across town. In the year 2000, there were over 5.7 million cosmetic procedures performed in the USA. The largest growth area is in non-surgical procedures. Pasadena-based doctors Miller and Seltzer are experts in laser treatments.
What we're doing in our medical center is we're rejuvenating the skin, but without any recovery time. The advances recently in laser and emitted light sources is that we can actually improve your skin, make it look younger and healthier without you missing any work.
Penny Goodell is having a non-knife facelift. It's her 4th treatment.
I'm 59, and
They're
what
taking
started me
half-second
coming
up here.
here was purely vanity. I went for a job interview once, and a woman that was interviewing me was very mean. She said, you really should have some work done on your face because it's harder to get a job when you're older. It was very cruel, and I left in tears, but I started thinking about doing some things for myself.
Patient will probably feel a little stinging, but you won't see your muscles jerking or anything like that.
Today I'm having microcurrent, and I've had 3 treatments already, and I believe what it does is it stimulates the collagen underneath the skin.
This is a true laser called a YAG laser. On this one, on the patient, we're going to do some of the deeper wrinkles under the eyes. What my RN is going to do is pull down the eye, and then she's going to shoot at an angle on the orbital rim so we don't risk shooting into the eye at all. And you do 2 to 3 passes until the patient gets a little red and a little bit swollen in the area.
The laser shoots photons of light through the skin. As liver spots, broken blood vessels, and wrinkles absorb these photons, they heat up and eventually vanish. After a course of treatment, the benefits should last at least 2 to 3 years. And there are other ways to minimize the effects of aging. Bizarrely enough, one of the most popular methods is to inject the body with minute amounts of the poison that causes botulism.
Now the most common procedure that people are having cosmetically is Botox. And what Botox is a toxin. It sounds scary, but it's safe. There's been no major complications at all. What you do is you inject units of Botox into different muscles on your face, so it relaxes those muscles. It actually puts them to sleep. So what I thought I would do is I'm going to mark you, and then we're going to do your eyes, and also we can get some of the wrinkling under your eyes too, which is a newer technique. Okay? All right, so just relax, close your eyes. Should we just make a little bleb underneath this? Yeah.
Olga DiMarzo is 41. She's decided it's time to take action.
I have crow's feet, and I'm a really bad squinter, especially when I'm out in the sun, even wearing sunglasses. And I noticed I was developing some really deep lines around the eyes, so I wanted to improve that.
To inject them every 3 months the first year, and then less the second year. So you're really kind of causing an atrophy of the muscles so that they can't move as well in the long run. There's nothing to worry about. You just don't want to get too close so it goes into the eye itself. But she's going to be squinting and smiling for the next 4 hours. And then I've had some people where the Botox kicked in about by the next day. But in general, I tell people you got to give it at least 2 weeks to really start working.
Didn't hurt, a little mild stinging, but that's about it. Felt comfortable, at ease.
And like I said before, this is the most common cosmetic procedure now because it's so simple. You come in every 3 to 5 months and you have your little dose of Botox.
In Greek mythology, the goddess Eos asked Zeus to bestow immortality on her lover, Tithonus. But she made a crucial mistake, forgetting to ask for eternal youth. Tithonus turned gray and decrepit. He begged for the mercy of death's release. Today, youthful good looks are in the hands, not of the gods, but of plastic surgeons like Los Angeles' Dr. Ellen Bogan.
Women will come to me and say, gee, I have some wrinkles over here. And really, the wrinkles are just a little chip in the, little chink in the armor. I mean, her brow is down and she's looking grumpy. Her mouth is turning down. She has jowls. She has things of that. The real thing of aging is not wrinkles or brows down or anything else. It's an expression that someone gives. An older woman has an angrier expression, an unpleasant expression. And my whole idea with this thing that I've been doing for years is what I call expressional surgery. Maybe lifting the brows, making someone look a little bit brighter, changing the slant of the brows, turning up the corner of the mouth, making someone look younger. Let me just show you on the pictures what I'm going to do. I think of all the places you could be in the world right now, this is the right place for you.
Not bad. Having sex,
that's a real good second choice.
Lisa Dubow has saved long and hard for the surgery she's about to undergo.
After I was diagnosed with cancer, and I went through surgery and 7 months of chemotherapy, and I turned gray, and it also doesn't burn your skin. When I started getting better, I just looked in the mirror and I said, this is not all age. I mean, it just did a real number. And I said, I want to do something for myself. So I saved, and rather than doing, I'll say, small womanly things all the time, getting your nails done, getting your eyebrows plucked, I just took whatever I would put away for that, and I just saved it, and I don't want to look all tired all the time, and that's what this does, it makes it so that you don't look tired all the time.
What I'm doing is I'm just outlining the bags so I'll know where they are.
The average cost of cosmetic surgery is $5,000, but this does not deter over 1 million Americans every year from choosing to go under the knife.
Most of the surgery is technically very, very easy, but it requires a tremendous attention to detail, and it also requires an artistic eye. It also requires someone to be a good mechanic. I'd say 80% of the plastic surgical operations, someone who's a good car mechanic would do a better job than someone who is a fine artist. what I do is I make an incision directly under her eyelashes that won't be visible after surgery. Lower lid scissor, please.
ผมเป็นเพื่อนเบนเทนมิวสิกนพก้าพรทองเป็นเบนเทนก็อยู่นี่จริงเหรออ๋อเปลี่ยนรูปแล้วเหรอมิวสิก
Traction stitch, please.
คุ้นๆฮะเป็นเพลงก็ดูอยู่เหรอ
Muscle down to where the fat is. Here's the fat which causes the
กินข้าวยังทุกคน
this yellow icky stuff. Before I remove the fat, I put a clamp on it. This is the fat. This is actually her bag, which causes the bag. What I do now, after I've taken out the major fat over here, I then burn anything I think might be next.
Just did a real number. And I said I want to do something for myself.
หน้าปกรูปฉลาดนะครับแต่ตอนนี้ผมเปลี่ยนแล้วครับ
Doing, I'll say, small womanly things all the time, getting your nails done and getting your eyebrows plucked. I just took whatever I would put away for that, and I just saved it. And I don't want to look all tired all the time. And that's what this does. It makes it so that you don't look tired all the time.
What I'm doing is I'm just outlining the bags so I'll know where they are.
The average cost of cosmetic surgery is $5,000, but this does not deter over 1 million Americans every year from choosing to go under the knife.
Most of the surgery is technically very, very easy, but it
กลับมา
requires
บอ
a
ก
tremendous
ทีมแป๊บนึง
attention
อย่า
to
ลืมกด
detail,
ไลค์ให้พี่เสร็
and
จ
it
ด้วย
also
จะ
requires
มา
an
บอก
artistic eye. It also requires someone to be a good mechanic. I would say 80% of the plastic surgical operations, someone who's a good car mechanic would do a better job than someone who is a fine artist.
กลับ
What I
มา
do is I
บอ
make
ก
an incision
แป๊บหนึ่
directly
ง
under her
อย่าลืมกดไลค์
eyelashes
ให้
that
พี่
won't
เสร็
be
จด้วย
visible after surgery. Lower lid scissor,
เป็นเพื่อน
please.
ของเมษาเหรอ
How angry these patients get if you cut even one of their eyelashes. Traction stitch, please.
อ๋อกันเนอร์เดอะฟรีไฟคือเพื่อนของเมษาเหรอ
Separating that from the muscle down to where the fat is. Here's the fat which causes the bag. It's this yellow, icky stuff. Before I remove the fat, I put a clamp on it. This is the fat. This is actually her bag, which causes the bag. What I do now, after I've taken out the major fat over here, I then burn anything I think might be excess, making it nice and smooth. Put the eyelid back to where it was.
Thank you everyone.
The greatest bragging rights somebody can get is, I'm so good I do other plastic surgeons. So you have to be very careful who you will allow to get these bragging rights. This is 4.5 carats of industrial diamonds. And this is on a wheel which travels at about 3,000 to 5,000 RPM. And what this does, just as you would sand off some fine furniture, you can sand off the wrinkles in the lip. And when not only does it get rid of the wrinkles, but where she has no lip line here and she puts on her lipstick, I can actually create a sharp lip line over here. Okay, I sand down to a certain layer. If I go deeper than that, the skin won't grow back. If I go less than that, the wrinkles are still there. It looks deceptively simple.
From start to finish, Lisa's surgery has taken less than an hour.
If she were to look at herself in the pictures afterwards and she would go up to her best girlfriend, you know, what's different about me? It's a little hard to see, but these little wrinkles in her mouth over here, tiny little things you can hardly see, to her are like the Grand Canyon. These bags under her eyes are like she's a major prize fighter who's been beaten up.
มีกล้วยมีช็อกโกแลตสตรอเบอรี่แล้วก็อะโวคาโด อันนี้เป็นไข่ส แล้วก็มีฟักทอง แล้วก็พริกหยวกอันนี้เรียกว่า
When I came home,
ซูเปอร์เวจี้
I felt
มี
fine.
บรอกโค
I
ลี
wouldn't look in the mirror for a
ด
couple
อกกระห
days
ล่ำแล้วก็
just
เห็ดแล้วก็
because
ถั่ว
I didn't want to
ข้าวไร
upset
เบอร์รี่
myself.
แล้วก็อันนี้
I
เป็น
wanted to look as if
ข
I
นม
was
จีน
aging normally rather than aging as if I've gone through a serious disease. I just want to look as if I was a 44-year-old woman rather than somebody to me who was somebody in their 50s. And to me, that's what I look like. So on the inside, yeah, I feel a lot better.
Lisa is happy with her looks and feels the decision she made was the right one. More and more of us feel under pressure to achieve physical perfection so that we can fulfill the image that modern society idolizes. Like Dorian Gray in Oscar Wilde's famous story, we too can mask the external effects of aging. But while no picture in the attic reveals the truth of our aging process, our internal body picture always will. Amy Hendel is about to take a three-dimensional computerized journey through her own body.
I'm here because I feel like I'm living a good lifestyle, but I'd really like to know whether or not that is truthful. So I feel that if we go inside my body and really take a close look, I will know if all the vitamin supplementation, if all the running, if all the saying no to red meat is truly playing a part in keeping me young and keeping me
ผมเจอพี่
staying
ตอนกิน
youthful.
ข้าวกับผัดกะเพราหรืออะไร
Keep
เนี้
your
ย
arms up like that at the end of the second picture.
ขอบคุณมากครับ
I'll tell you to rest your arms down on your stomach. All right, ready? Okay.
กันเนอร์เดอะฟรีไฟ
This state-of-the-art body scanner
เก่งมากเลย
will reveal signs of disease and degeneration before
ให้
any
เปิดเทอมกัน
symptoms
นะทุกคน
appear. As a health expert and lifestyle
ขอบคุณ
coach,
มากครับกดไลค์ให้
44-year-old Amy should have far less to worry about than most.
Clearly, everybody's concerned about how they look. The latest anti-wrinkle creams, cosmetic and plastic surgeries on a rise. There's no doubt that we're all concerned about aging from the outside. But if you aren't concerned about the aging inside, you better realize that that is probably the most damning parameter that will cut your life short. And if we miss little signs of disease early on, if we are asymptomatic, if we have no signs of that disease, clearly we can get all the way down the road to a certain point, and then who knows, that may be the one fatality that you could have turned the clock back on if you had been able to see inside your body.
We're all aging on the inside, but the process is hidden from view. We have no clear idea of how our bodies are coping with the job of keeping us alive. Dr. Harvey Eisenberg is about to reveal Amy's results. Health and fitness are an integral part of her life, but how well is her body aging?
Here in the neck, this is your jaw, and this is the base of your tongue. This is the airway system.
The scan immediately exposes a problem.
At this level in the neck, we see two little brightish areas here and here, which are on both sides of the airway. These are your thyroid lobes. Now, these are smaller than we usually see them, which raises some questions about your thyroid function. And the first thing that I would ask you is, are you on thyroid hormone? Are you taking it?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Even though it is in a resting state, the fact that it's brighter than the surrounding tissues still means that it's concentrating iodine to manufacture hormone. So they're still working, even though they're in a reduced state. So here we crack the spine open and we look inside, and the first thing that I look at is the strength of the structure inside the cut open vertebral body. Now, looking at yours without even looking at your numbers, I can tell you that's very strong bone structure.
Right.
And then the next thing that we want to do is look down the barrel of this so we can take the data and manipulate it. And now we're looking down the barrel of the canals, and these are the joints that are in the back. Okay, and the spinal cord is running down this canal here. All right, so that all is looking good.
While the spinal column is healthy, things aren't looking so good in the neck area.
This is the frontal view of the neck. In the center panel here, see these bone spurs? The nerves go out these holes here, and these are normal, but look what's happening here. There's a ridge of bone developing in the back there. That's degenerative changes occurring in the disc, causing a bone ridge that's now starting to compromise the canal that the nerves go out. Okay, so you are developing a problem here.
And there's more cause for concern when the scan reveals the state of Amy's heart.
In the chest area, this is your heart. I'm looking very carefully to see if there's any plaque formation in the arch of the aorta, and there is. You see this little white spot right where my finger is? That is, in fact, some plaque formation. By plaque, I mean this disease, atherosclerosis.
Right.
This is the most common disease of Western civilization. This has more to do with aging than any other disease. This is the disease that causes heart attacks and strokes, the number 1 and number 2 killers of both men and women.
With the examination over, things might appear worrying for Amy, but she's still in better shape than most women of her age. So how did she feel about it?
I was quite shocked to hear about my skeletal system. I knew that I had been brilliantly caring for its density, but I had no idea that the particular kinds of exercises that I was choosing and going gung-ho with might actually be hurting me in some fashion. So that was a real revelation for me, and definitely something I would take under immediate consideration. I am walking away now, thoroughly compelled to change some things that I was doing, but also to follow certain regimens, because I know women my age could certainly have worse pictures or worse scenarios than I saw in that body scan today.
Amy's body scan reveals that even someone as fit as she can't outrun the aging process. But why do we become more susceptible to disease as we grow older? What's really happening to our bodies as we age? Humans are made up of billions of cells. Until recently, the aging process within these building blocks of life was a mystery.
When I entered this field in the early 60s, there were, certainly in the United States, no more than a half a dozen people who would be willing to admit that they worked in this field, and that was risky to do, because the field was so misunderstood and vilified, actually, that to admit that you were working in the field was tantamount to committing professional suicide.
In the first half of the 20th century, scientists believed that human cells cultured in the laboratory had the capacity to divide indefinitely and were therefore immortal. This meant that there must be internal constraints in the body that produce the phenomenon of aging. But in 1961, Professor Hayflick turned the understanding of cellular aging upside down. During an experiment totally unconnected with aging, he made an accidental discovery.
When I cultured normal human cells from a variety of sources,
Thank you everyone for subscribing and watching me.
I found that those cells divided only a certain number of times and then they died.
This contradicted what Professor Hayflick had always been taught about cells in culture.
We were very fearful that we had made a mistake, mostly because as word got out to the scientific community and to the elder statesmen in the field that we had made this observation, the feedback was that we had made a mistake, and of course we were very concerned about that.
But there was no mistake, and other scientists verified it. The cells underwent a maximum of 50 doublings and then stopped. This became known as the Hayflick limit.
If you put into your freezer cells at different doubling levels from 1 to 50, and then you reconstituted them or resurrected them from the freezer months or years later, you would find that the cells had an extraordinary memory. that they remembered at what doubling level they were when frozen, and when thawed, they would carry on so that the total number before and after freezing was 50. That meant that there must be a counting mechanism.
Professor Hayflick's discovery showed that human cells are not immortal. So is this then the reason we age? Unfortunately, the answer isn't so simple. Hayflick's groundbreaking work tells us how our dividing cells age, but the human body is also made up of other cells that never divide. Neurons, heart cells, muscle cells serve us throughout our lives without ever needing to be replaced, yet they still age. Human aging is a complicated jigsaw, but step by step, the picture is taking shape. Aging is something that accompanies us from the moment of our birth, part of our evolutionary destiny, but Professor Michael Rose believes it is something that we will manipulate.
It is possible to substantially increase the human lifespan, and it will, in fact, occur. That's as inevitable as, motor cars and electricity were by the latter part of the 19th century.
In his work at the University of California, Irvine, Professor Rose has devoted a significant part of his career to testing the evolutionary basis of aging.
We age because natural selection gives up on us at late ages. We're only healthy and vigorous when we're younger because natural selection makes us that way. It has to, because if we're not healthy and vigorous when we're younger, we could never deal with the stresses and strains of growing up to reproduce and then actually reproducing. So natural selection likes us to be healthy when we're young, but the truth is that as we do more and more reproduction, in a sense our biological importance is in our past and not in our future, natural selection lets us go.
Professor Rose tested this theory by enlisting the help of these little creatures, fruit flies.
Over time you get to like those cute little red eyes, but basically that's not why you choose to work with them. You work with them because they're easy. They're large enough so you can handle them by hand. They're small enough so that you can handle thousands and tens of thousands without much difficulty or cost. Practically what we do is we discard their eggs. The flies will lay their eggs on food that we supply. They eat off that food and they lay eggs right there. If you eliminate those plates of food containing the eggs from the environment, every 1, 2, or 3 days, you'll prevent the fly from reproducing until the age at which you want it to reproduce.
Only the most robust flies get to reproduce, and their offspring should carry this genetic propensity for survival. Normal fruit flies reproduce when they're 14 days old, but Professor Rose's flies routinely reproduce at 70 days and have continued to do so for over a decade.
What you're changing is the way evolution works, the representation of genes in the next generation, then the generation after that, the generation after that, generation after that, with the result that they live more than twice as long on average compared to normal flies.
If Professor Rose can grant fruit flies a longer life, how about humans?
Human females who delay their reproduction until much later in life will essentially be doing the same experiment if that is sustained from generation to generation over dozens of generations. If you think about what dozens of generations means in human terms, you're looking at centuries or a millennium before you have anything like what we have in fruit flies.
To get a clearer idea of why we age and why the aging process is all powerful, we have to look back at the very beginnings of life. When organisms became multicellular, a critical division of labor happened. While some cells became the germline with responsibility for reproduction,